This is my ranking of the best Tycoon games on PS5 that I've played, based purely on my personal experience. Each one is placed from masterpiece to trash, depending on how deep the systems are and how fun the management feels. Let's get straight into the list. Planet Coaster is a theme park management and building simulator where the goal is to design roller coasters, place rides, manage staff, set ticket prices, complete financial challenges, and keep guests happy while growing a successful amusement park filled with detailed attractions and creative scenery. After spending time with it, I found myself checking guest feedback, adjusting prices, training employees, and expanding the park whenever profits increased. I liked how every decision had an effect, whether I was adding food stalls, improving transport rides, or changing layouts to reduce long queues. Building custom coasters felt rewarding once I understood the tools, and decorating different areas kept every section looking unique. I also appreciated that park management mattered instead of only building attractions, since staff happiness and guest opinions could quickly affect progress. I lost track of time trying new ideas and improving weak areas because there was always another goal waiting. I placed this in my excellent tier. Gas Station Simulator is a business management simulator where an abandoned roadside station is restored into a busy stop by selling fuel, stocking a convenience store, repairing vehicles, expanding facilities, hiring workers, and keeping customers satisfied through steady upgrades and daily tasks. Once I got everything running, I spent most of my time rushing between fuel pumps, the cash register, shelves, and the garage because customers never seemed to stop arriving. I liked how every upgrade unlocked another responsibility instead of simply making things easier, so there was always something new to manage. Cleaning the station, ordering supplies, decorating the property, and training employees made the business grow at a satisfying pace, even if some jobs became repetitive after long sessions. The funny events and strange characters kept breaking up the routine, which helped the busy work stay entertaining. I still had plenty of fun building the station into a successful business, but it settled into my good tier. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is a park management simulator where rescued dinosaurs are housed in carefully designed enclosures. Scientific research unlocks new species. Ranger teams handle emergencies. Scientists develop technology, and guest facilities expand while balancing safety, finances, animal welfare, and entertainment across several campaign and sandbox scenarios. After settling into my first park, I spent ages planning habitats, adjusting fences, researching better upgrades, and watching every dinosaur behave differently depending on its surroundings. I enjoyed experimenting with flying and aquatic species because they made each expansion feel fresh and encouraged smarter planning. Managing scientists added another challenge, since I had to balance research, expeditions, and their workload without letting unrest grow. I also liked customizing buildings and improving guest attractions until the park looked exactly how I wanted. The campaign ended sooner than I expected, and a few objectives could have explained themselves better, but I still kept returning to build larger parks. I placed this in my great tier. House Flipper 2 is a renovation simulator where neglected homes are cleaned, repaired, decorated, remodeled, and furnished before being sold for profit. Players complete client requests, unlock better tools, redesign interiors room by room, and expand creative building options through detailed customization and building mechanics. After finishing a few jobs, I found myself carefully choosing furniture, repainting walls, replacing floors, and trying different layouts until every house looked the way I wanted. I liked how the relaxed pace let me experiment without worrying about making mistakes, and unlocking faster tools made larger renovations much smoother. Sandbox mode was a welcome addition, although I spent more time improving existing properties than building everything from scratch. Watching worn-out houses slowly become stylish homes stayed satisfying, even when some cleaning and decorating tasks became repetitive after long sessions. It goes in the good tier. Planet Zoo is a zoo management simulator where habitats are designed for animals with specific environmental needs. Staff handle research and veterinary care, breeding programs improve genetics, guests support conservation efforts, and every exhibit requires careful planning to balance welfare, education, finances, and long-term growth. Once I started expanding my zoo, I spent a surprising amount of time adjusting habitats, researching diseases, breeding healthier animals, and making sure every species had enough space and enrichment to stay happy. I liked that success depended on much more than building attractive exhibits, because every decision affected the animals, visitors, and income. Watching rare species thrive after careful planning made the slow progression worthwhile, and I enjoyed learning interesting facts through the in-game encyclopedia while growing the park. A few bugs interrupted the flow, and building in detailed areas sometimes felt awkward, but they never stopped me from returning for another session. This one found its place in my great tier. 2 Point Museum revolves around creating unique museums filled with themed exhibits, valuable artifacts, trained staff, and successful expeditions while balancing finances, guest satisfaction, security, and research across several locations, each introducing fresh objectives and management systems. After I started expanding my museums, I spent a lot of time sending teams on expeditions, arranging exhibits for better visitor interest, and adjusting staff salaries before problems started affecting the business. I liked how every new museum introduced fresh mechanics instead of repeating the same routine, which kept each location interesting for much longer. Unlocking higher quality artifacts and improving them through research made every successful expedition feel rewarding, and I appreciated how easy the interface made complex management decisions. Security became a little frustrating once valuable collections attracted more thieves, but it never outweighed everything else the simulator did well. This one easily secured a place in my excellent tier. Arcade Paradise blends business management with retro arcade gaming, challenging players to expand a failing family laundromat into a popular entertainment venue by unlocking arcade cabinets, handling daily responsibilities, upgrading facilities, increasing machine popularity, and growing profits through careful planning and steady reinvestment. After I unlocked more machines, I found myself balancing the boring laundromat work with expanding the arcade because every new cabinet opened another way to earn money. I like jumping into the arcade machines to beat challenges, since improving their popularity directly helped the business grow. Watching the back room slowly become a lively arcade packed with flashing lights and busy customers was easily my favorite part. The laundromat eventually became less interesting once the arcade started making serious money, and I wish both sides stayed equally important throughout the adventure. Even with that issue, I kept coming back because building the ultimate retro arcade remained satisfying. I ranked this one in my great tier. Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, centers on the demanding routine of operating a professional restaurant, where careful preparation, recipe planning, staff coordination, ingredient management, and efficient kitchen workflows determine whether every service ends with satisfied customers and a stronger reputation. Once the restaurant started growing, I realized success depended on preparing as much as possible before service, because trying to cook everything at the last second quickly became overwhelming. I enjoyed juggling several dishes at once while relying on my staff to handle cleaning, cooking, and serving during the busiest hours. Seeing each service finish smoothly after all the preparation made the hard work worthwhile, and unlocking better recipes kept giving me reasons to improve. A few systems could have been explained more clearly, and some repeated dialogue became noticeable over time, but the restaurant management stayed rewarding throughout. This found its place in my good tier. Park Beyond builds around designing imaginative theme parks. We're creating roller coasters, placing attractions, managing visitor happiness, expanding facilities, and improving every corner of the park all contribute to attracting bigger crowds and growing a successful business. I liked how the impossification system encouraged me to create attractions that would never exist in real life, making each park look more exciting as I unlocked new upgrades. The campaign introduced the mechanics well, although it spent too long guiding every step instead of letting me experiment freely. I had more fun once the sandbox opened because it gave me complete freedom to build whatever I wanted. The huge selection of rides, decorations, and customization options kept me busy for hours, even if awkward controls, unreliable path building, and occasional technical issues interrupted the creativity. Despite those frustrations, the imagination behind every attraction kept me invested and made expanding the park rewarding throughout my time with it. This earned a spot in my good tier. Anno 1800 challenges players to build a thriving industrial empire by developing cities, establishing production chains, managing trade routes, balancing the economy, expanding across islands, and keeping every citizen supplied as increasingly complex systems become interconnected. I quickly realized that every decision mattered because one missing resource could slow an entire production chain and create problems across the city. Watching small settlements grow into busy industrial centers packed with factories, farms, and bustling ports was incredibly satisfying, and I rarely wanted to stop expanding. Managing trade, diplomacy, and naval forces added even more depth without taking attention away from city planning. The campaign also did an excellent job teaching complicated mechanics while keeping everything engaging through its story. Controller navigation occasionally felt awkward because of the sheer number of menus, but that became easier with time. The rewarding management systems kept me invested for countless hours. This secured a place in my excellent tier. Megaquarium revolves around creating and expanding a successful public aquarium by designing exhibits, caring for marine life, managing staff, researching new species, balancing finances, and meeting the unique needs of every creature while keeping visitors entertained. I spent most of my time adjusting tanks, experimenting with layouts, and making sure every fish had the right environment because even a small mistake could throw everything into chaos. Discovering how different species behave together added an enjoyable puzzle element that kept every new exhibit interesting. I also liked slowly transforming empty spaces into lively attractions filled with tunnels, educational displays, and thriving aquatic life. Some management systems took longer than they should have to understand, and a few quality of life improvements would have made building smoother, but none of that stopped me from getting absorbed for hours. Watching guests admire the aquarium I had built made every challenge worthwhile. This found its place in my good tier. Prison Architect tasks players with designing and operating a secure correctional facility by constructing cell blocks, managing staff, balancing budgets, scheduling inmate routines, expanding infrastructure, and maintaining order while responding to the many challenges that come with running a complex prison. I enjoyed how much freedom it gave me because every decision shaped how smoothly the prison functioned, from improving security to investing in rehabilitation programs. Learning about individual inmates and responding to their needs made the simulation feel much deeper than I expected, while the campaign gradually introduced each system without becoming overwhelming. I also liked experimenting with different prison layouts and management styles to see what worked best. The huge number of mechanics could seem intimidating at first, but once everything clicked, it became difficult to stop expanding and improving the facility. This easily earned an excellent tier ranking. Let's Build a Zoo puts players in charge of creating and expanding a thriving wildlife park by building habitats, hiring staff, managing finances, breeding animals, unlocking new facilities, and attracting more visitors while balancing the needs of both guests and creatures. I loved how it constantly rewarded experimentation, especially once I started breeding different animal variants and unlocking bizarre hybrid species that made the zoo unlike anything I had built before. The morality system also added an entertaining twist, giving me completely different ways to grow the park depending on the choices I made. Researching new upgrades kept the progression satisfying, with fresh features appearing regularly as the zoo expanded. The breeding process could become too grindy before the best content finally opened up, and the animals themselves lacked much personality, but the creative ideas easily outweighed those shortcomings. This earned a place in my excellent tier. Surviving Mars challenges players to establish a self-sustaining colony on the Red Planet. By gathering resources, constructing domes, managing life support systems, expanding infrastructure, and ensuring colonists survive one of the harshest environments imaginable. I struggled during the opening hours because the tutorial left too much for me to figure out on my own, but everything became far more rewarding once I understood how the different systems connected. Watching a small outpost gradually develop into a thriving settlement was incredibly satisfying, especially while balancing oxygen, water, power, and advanced resources that always seemed in short supply. I also appreciated the mysterious scenarios that added unexpected objectives and encouraged me to keep playing beyond simply expanding the colony. The controls occasionally felt awkward, but the depth of the management systems and relaxing atmosphere kept drawing me back for more. This belongs in my excellent tier. These are the Tycoon games that kept me saying, I'll stop after one more expansion, only to lose another few hours managing everything. Share your own favorites in the comments, and maybe I'll discover another great Tycoon game to play. Thanks, and goodbye.